Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at Objective 4.6c. Our learning intention is I'm learning to identify right angles and acute, right, and obtuse triangles. The success criteria is I can identify acute, right, and obtuse angles by their properties. I can classify triangles. I can label the angles of a figure. The demonstration of learning will be, given 4 problems, I will apply knowledge of right angles to identify acute, right, and obtuse triangles with 100% accuracy. Let's take a look at our academic vocabulary for classifying triangles. Acute, angles, attributes, obtuse, and right. Pay close attention to the anchor chart for classifying by angles. Let's just jump right on into our problem. Remember, we always want to use our UPSC check whenever we can to help solve a problem. Our problem reads, you drew the triangles shown on the sidewalk with chalk. How is each of your triangles classified based on their angles? So, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and annotate my problem by finding the words that I know or that I need to know. I need to know about triangles. I need to know in my question that I'm talking about triangles, classified, and that they're being based on their angles. Now, triangles are classified by their angle of the greatest measure, even though there are 3 angles in a triangle. The triangle is classified by its angle of the greatest measure. When I determine the angle of the greatest size in a triangle, I can classify it. I'm going to use a right to help me classify my triangles. This is what a right angle will look like. A right angle is a perfect corner or the corner you see on a square or a rectangle. A right angle measures 90 degrees. The section between the 2 rays that form the angle can be measured. An acute angle is an angle that has smaller interior than a right angle or is less than 90 degrees. That is an acute angle. And an angle that has a greater interior than a right angle or is greater than 90 degrees is called an obtuse angle. So, I'm going to look at each triangle and label each angle. I'm going to begin with the first triangle. I'm going to look closely at this triangle. This angle does not appear to be greater than 90 degrees. This angle is not as open as the one on the right side of it. As I look at my second angle, it is also less than 90 degrees. This means that these 2 angles are acute because it is less than 90 degrees. I'm going to label them Now, this is acute. And so is this one. Now, I notice something different. When I look at this angle, it appears to be greater than 90 degrees. Its interior is much larger than the other two. So, now that I know the last angle is different from the other two, I am going to label it as an obtuse angle. Remember, my first two angles are acute because they are less than 90 degrees. My last angle is obtuse because it is greater than 90 degrees. Now let's take a look at our next triangle. This particular triangle has an angle that appears to be less than 90 degrees. So that means that it is acute. As I go around the triangle, I notice that this one forms a right angle. It produces a square for me in the corner if I were to draw them out. Lastly, the last angle is also acute because it is less than 90 degrees. So, my angles are acute, right, acute, and I'm going to go back and mark on my first triangle, acute, acute, obtuse. Remember, acute angles are those that are less than 90 degrees. Obtuse angles are those that are greater than 90 degrees. The obtuse angle is one that is 90 degrees. When I look at this triangle, I now know that it has an acute, obtuse angle. When I look at this triangle, I see that it has acute, right, acute. I'm always going to go around my figures as if I were going around a clock. This helps me to make sure that I have everything labeled. So, to answer the question, how is each of your triangles classified based on their angles? I know that this is a right triangle because it forms a right angle. This is an obtuse triangle because it has a measurement that is greater than 90 degrees. Now, let's do a quick check to see if we have covered our information for today. Our learning intention says, I'm learning to identify right angles, acute and obtuse triangles. Did we cover? Did we identify right angles? Yes, we did. Did we identify acute, obtuse, and right triangles? Yes, we did. Can you identify acute, right, and obtuse angles? Yes, you can. How about classify the triangles? Yes, we can. We know that it is either going to be an acute, a right, or obtuse triangle. And can we label the angles of the figure? Yes, we can. Remember, we always move clockwise around the figure to label the angles. Well, now it's your turn to practice. You will be given 4 problems to apply your knowledge of right angles to identify acute, right, and obtuse triangles with 100% accuracy. Okay, good luck everybody.